Hi, my name's Jesse and you're watching Now You Know. This is our third update of the Grove ecosystem. Let's see what's growing on. So the first thing that I noticed when I walked up to the Grove was that our seedlings are doing gangbusters. They're doing great. I really need to transplant them. I probably should have done it long ago. Also, our microgreens have been growing steadily. This is like the fourth or fifth generation of microgreens that I've just been planting and harvesting constantly. About every 3 days or so, they're ripe for the picking, and these guys actually, I waited too long. These are macro greens at this point. But they're still yummy, they're still edible. They're just not quite as tender. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to just do is pull out these macro greens. They've been in there way too long. I mean, they're micro greens, but I mean, look at the size of them, they're huge. Alright, and then we're going to leave this guy. He's doing good. A few more days and we can pick them. Now, before I plant any more microgreens up here, I'm actually going to come down here and we're going to transplant our seedlings into the tray above. And then we'll reevaluate where to put the microgreens. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but the Grove app is super duper helpful. If you have any questions, they're probably in the FAQ, and if not, you can message the Grove team directly and they can help you with whatever your problem is. So we're about to transplant some seedlings from the seedling tray up to the garden bed. And there's just a nice instruction manual of how to do it right here, so I'm just gonna follow it because that's super easy. For the first step is to use the circular knob of wonder to turn on your pumps. So one press and you get this dark blue, and then if you turn it to the right, it turns the pumps on. And I just heard them turn on, so that's great. And then we can watch the water level in our grove rise up. Alright, so the water level has reached our overflow tube, so now it is time to move on to step 2. So let's start with the parsley. I'm just going to grab this tray right out of here and bring it up to the garden bed where we're going to transplant them. Woo, come with me. Boom. Okay, so the idea here is that you're trying to save as much of the roots as possible. Now when they grow out of the bottom of the seedling tray like this, it makes it a little difficult because you have to try and gently remove them, so we're going to do the best we can. This guy seems like he'd be pretty easy to remove, so I'm going to go for him first. So, it recommends that you pull by the plant, which just seems a little too fragile for me, so I'm going to push up from the bottom here. And I'm going to grab the core pot, and we're going to keep pushing up with the bottom. There we go. There, it's free. So step 3 is to make a little dent in your clay pebbles to make room for your plant. So I'm going to do that now. Just come in, and you're just sort of scooping it away. And you just sort of move them off and out of the way. It doesn't have to be pretty. Alright, that's a pretty sizable dent. So the height of the plug is very important. You have to make sure that it's covered with clay pebbles, because you see this algae and stuff on the top? Yeah, it's kind of gross, and we don't want it because it's stealing away nutrients from our system. So if we cover it with clay pebbles, they'll die because they won't get any more light, which in the seedling tray they don't have. So maybe the next time I'll cover this bit with some clay pebbles. I'm going to put the parsley in the front because it's going to be shorter than other plants. So get it down to the level that I'm looking for and just fill it in with pebbles. So that's just to keep the pebbles, the core pot in its place, and then the rest of the pebbles cover it up nicely. That's the first one. Okay, so now I'll just repeat that process for the rest of the large parsley plants. Not the little baby ones, we'll skip those for now. Alright, these are some happy looking parsley plants. These two are too young, so I'm not going to plant them yet. I'm going to put them back in the seedling tray area. Alright, so I think I'll put the kale right here. So one of my absolute favorite things about the Grove is that Even in the wintertime, fresh basil just brings you right back to summer. It's awesome. Alright, so I'm gonna plant these guys sort of in the back here. So that's a really attractive looking garden bed. I'm gonna go ahead and add some radish microgreens into the spaces that we haven't filled yet. Just so we can keep having microgreens even while we're growing some of the other stuff. Make sure that it settles in there nice. Okay, so I did a little bacteria test and the bacteria is doing fine, but the pH has dropped off significantly, so I'm going to need to add some more water and I'm going to need to adjust the water's pH, so we'll do that next. Okay, so here I have a jug of some reverse osmosis water from our water filter, and I'm going to do a little pH test so I can see how much I need to adjust. It's always very important that you measure from the meniscus. The meniscus is that sort of lower droop in the water in the vial there. So if we do a little color match here, we can see that the water is around 7.2, so I think that'll be fine. I don't need to adjust it after all. Okay, but if I did need to adjust the pH, here's what I would use. This is called Grove Up. It comes from Grove with your kit, and basically it just increases the pH, so it's a base. You add it to the water, and it's going to raise the pH of that water. Very important to remove this overflow pipe so you're getting an accurate reading of the water in the tank. So pull that out and let the water drain down, and then if we come down to the water level of the Grove, you can see that we got a few inches here that we can add some water to. Alright, so now we want to add this higher pH water directly to our grow bed, and what that's going to do is it's going to slowly introduce it to our fish tank. I'm using my hand here to sort of regulate the amount of flow of the water that I want. There, that should make a happy Grove. So now the water level of the Grove is pretty much where we want it. The pH is still a little low, but it's best to be gradual when you're making any sort of adjustments to the chemistry of your Grove. So we'll just keep testing the pH of the water that we add, and slowly it'll bring it back up to normal. Oh, and I almost completely forgot. Put your overflow tube back in. So easy to forget that. I should probably leave it up here on the bed so I don't forget it. And then cover up your sides so they don't get any algae buildup in there. Alright, looks like we're done. We've got some happy plants here up in the bed. Our water level's doing pretty well down here. How we doing? Thanks for watching this episode of Now You Know. If you liked it, hit the like button. And if you like the Grove, definitely hit the subscribe button because we're going to have tons more episodes about the Grove. Also, we're going to post a link in the description to the Grove's website, so if you're interested, definitely check it out. Now you know.